last week I was discussing chairperson with the chief director for infrastructure in the education department. Utata Umduba. I am the official organization. Whilst I'm opening new schools on this side, I've got 10 dilapidated schools as in Nyonyozelayo, Now, government must think broadly. Whilst you are bringing new schools, how do you maintain the old ones? How do you maintain the old ones? And therefore, go back and plan beautification and facelifting of dilapidated schools in the province. And I don't want less than 120 of those schools here. And that project must be finished by March. And the matter is closed. So that you don't have a problem of negativity that undermines positivity that you are doing. Because bakhona abantwana babantu abafundela kweza sikolo singawana ngawuphi umzuzu. And you don't need to be told by any court of law that this is a hazardous situation, that is a risk, and you are putting people's lives at risk. Now, where I am going with this argument, I was saying to them, look here, take out this injection of tenderization of state assets at all cost. Give each school out of this 120, each one you must give them 1 million rands. So that 1 million rands, you can go and purchase material within the radius of that school and that municipality. Then go back and instruct SGBs and SMTs of those schools to make sure that they appoint, in terms of artisans and bricklayers, people from the villages to beautify their own schools. I fully tend Alento, I fully thule, elifuneka lihlale e-restaurant lijonge into yokubana lingayifumana njani imali kwi-department ethile. We must stop that nonsense. Must stop that nonsense. Ayisebenzi into yokunika ibhillion umuntu omnye kukho abantu abayi-million who have got no food. Doesn't work. Apha ngoku kuthethwa ngamaphara apha. Amaphara are a production of selfishness of some of us. You knew very well that there is going to be a stage where people are going to be impatient. Ministers, MECs, you knew very well. So it can't be that people must smell freedom whilst others are benefiting directly. It can't be like that. So that's why I was saying, on this particular program, go back to mass lands of local and villages around those particular schools. Go back to that concept that former MEC Makupula introduced, and you drop it because we have got a pressure of business people here. We are in a business of changing lives of people, not in a business of making profit for individuals. Yes. We are in a business of ensuring that everybody here has got something to eat in the evening. Yes. And you don't have to beg anybody for that. We are not in a business of enriching you as an individual. Yes. If you think in that way, you don't belong here. If you think in that way, we don't belong here. So that's why I'm saying, let's invite all sitters. Ensure that they contribute on this initiative. In fact, the starting point is the debate that I raised, Petuka, yesterday in the top management of education. Whether is it still proper for education to outsource reasoning ability? We've got what is called the South African Schools Act. that gives power for policy change into SGBs of schools. Now, the argument that I was bringing yesterday, and I want to bring it here, if education is dynamic and complex, and to a greater extent complex to us who have got masters on it, how do you expect a sub-B person to change a policy of an institution so that these people here can be beneficiary of any change that is going to happen? It's like everyone holding the masters. But you take that responsibility to a person who's not that much literate to the level that is required. Isiphumo ke zaloo nto ukonyuka kwamanani wabantwana abaphathe izatifiketi abangazuzenzanga. Why? Because we are too comfortable in being educated people with lesser skills. That's why Chairperson, when if ungakube impukane uyomamela kwezi interviews siziqhubayo xa siqashanayo wawugqiba ujonga i-performance after the interview, you compare the articulation in an interview, and then you go back, give yourself 2 months or so, uyojonga uba le nto ibithethwa phaa kulaa interview iyenzeka na. The reason is we are too comfortable in producing a white-collared learned nation, a white-collar learned nation, people that must have CVs, elsewhere, who cannot do things on their own so that they can survive in life. Yolanda uzofika kukho ithule eliwine interview elingayaziyo noba maqalwe ngaphi ukwenza umsebenzi loluwine le interview. And there's a frustration in the labor force, in government, because kuzogqifizwa umuntu ongazinto phezu kwabantu abaziyo. Why? Because kukho ithule elimresearcheleyo lambhalela i-scripts ngoba these are potential questions. And therefore, position yourself in this way in order for you to articulate clearly so that you convince the panel. Now, there is no panel now. There is task ahead. Ubuyela back to juniors. Uyobuzwa yenziwa njani lena. Now, the irritation must lonto kulonga kangathatho kwi-interview. Kala uthatho wena nje kwathi uyazi sazi into thini. So why must we lecture you on a job that you have won through a particular process which is said to be credible? So I'm saying this methodology of being more academic than being skilled is not working. Mhlawumbi, let me be unpopular here. Let me be unpopular here by raising a controversial question. If this thing was relevant, why do we have load shedding? If this thing was relevant, why do we have load shedding? Since 1994, according to Kewayibona in this country, that there is going to be a stage where the country is going not to have energy. Researchers. They were researching for 28 years. Yes. What is it that they were researching? So I'm saying we need to find answers and stop misleading government, stop misleading entities that we are working on, stop misleading even SOEs that are collapsing now. Why? Because we undermine that this is a field of skills. For me, just to know that I can run this SOE is not enough without having a skill that can deal fundamentally with the requirements that are needed here. iyafana ke iyafana nale nto ndiyitshoyo yokuba sakhe izikolo apha eMpuma Koloni nasi zininzi izikolo esizakhayo kodwa everyday siku-cutting edge. Nangoku ngoLwesihlanu nditsho ngoLwesihlanu ndiyonikezela isikolo ngapha eMthatha se-189 million ithembisa a special school in Mthatha. But I can tell you, I was saying to the HOD yesterday, as we go there on Friday, what disciplines must be there in terms of skills? So that you don't open up a school of 189 million. But still people around Mthatha have got kids that must be transported to Durban. Why? Because there is no autism school around. There is no autism school around, but they have built a school of 180 million. Sign language is becoming a thorn in the flesh of government in this country now. And again, I don't want to make an example here as if I'm irritating people. I made an example when we had a gender-based violence summit here, about a couple of months back. Ndithi, Chairperson, can we all pray? Kuchayiswe mani umntana angasweleki apha ngosikhoyo sonke apha phambi kwale hotel ongakwazi uthetha. So that uzoyibona le nto abantu bacinga uba bayayazi bangayazi. Atshayiswe and ahambe yedwa. So that uzoyibona i-crisis that we have confronted with. Xa kufuneka ngoku kuthathwa lo mntana asiwe police station for uyoripota le moto umtshayisileyo, kufuneka i-second or third person. Because this one, akakwazi urelater naba bantu aziswa kubo. So the case is vulnerable immediately. The case itself is vulnerable because igqwetha eli-clever lizamthiza into no pieces the third person and the second person because kuthethwa umuntu not lo kwenzeke kuye into. Masigqithe apha. Xa efika esibhedlele, there is no nurse nor a doctor that relates on sign language. So a possibility yokumtyisa iPanato efuna any medication is hard. Because la process ye medication kune consultation and conversation eyenzekayo between the client and the person. So I'm saying, now, ukho lo mntu ngofuneka azawucacisa uba uva njani, amtolikele, abuye ke ngazotolikela lo. Because institutions kahulumende have not taken serious the issue of sign language. Masigqithe. Siyofika ecourt kwangala mntana. Xa kufikwa pha, kuthiwa uphuke kule ndawo. Uthi no andiphukanga kule ndawo, ndiphuke kulaa ndawo. Iyamiswa icourt because of language. Iyamiswa icase because of language. Andithethi ntsomi apha sinecase yase-Efata ethathe more than 7 years ko-principal wabulawayo pha. Yathatha 7 years. Why? Because of language in the court of law. Because of language in the court of law. So I'm saying, zikhona izinto esifanele uba sibhizi zizo. Sixakekile kakhulu zizo. How do we deal with these things? How do we deal with the structural, systemic challenges that government is confronted with? And leave these petty issues that have got nothing to do with the people, by the way. They have got more to do with me. How do we deal with some of those things? Again, Chair, Ubai Basic Education has introduced the three-streamed model. Now, isuka kule nto yokufundwa kabantu academically bengena skill, yes, nale concept ye three-streams model. The issue here into yoba yaziwa ndim nabani apha endlini. us that are aware that your problems has got already a solution. Okanye le solution ndihambe ndiqhayisa ngayo kwezi podium. I have not given myself time to say, are the people part of these policy changes? Are they aware that, by the way, you can't have a successful province outside of agriculture as a critical subject in the schools of this province? Sihlukane nalento yoba extension of other provinces. Ufuna ukwenza into yaseGauteng engazulunga apha. Abanalwandle sinolwandle. But indlela ebheka ku-Oceans Economy and Maritime School, funeka siyoxelelwa ngumuntu waseGauteng ba indlela yokwenza Maritime School and Oceans Economy inje xa elaze laphi ulwandle. So we must maximize, optimize what we have and begin to craft a way forward here with what we have. We don't need to be schooled by people that are stealing the ideas, by the way. That are stealing ideas, by the way. So I'm saying, as part of the tasks ekufuneka sizenzile and ekufuneka sikhangele indlela phethuka of integrating this program beyond this bond, I'm happy because the director for inclusive education, Utatu Ngapayu lapha.
This program that we are gathered here today for is going to benefit 300 learners with disabilities. We are going to be training these learners on 4 skills program. One is supply chain management, N2F level 5. We take those with metric. We're taking 35 from Northern Cape, 35 from KZN, 30 from the Eastern Cape. They make 100. Those are going to be trained in supply chain management. After that, they are going to be placed in workplace for workplace experience. And we hope that in that process, they will be absorbed. We will engage with the National Skills Fund as our partner to see how we progress them from the certificate maybe to a diploma without making any promise to the learners, but we will work with them. They are going to be placed in Upington and Kimberley in the Northern Cape, and in Pietermaritzburg, Durban in KZN. In the Eastern Cape, we have 30 for supply chain management. They are going to be based in Rebecca, and they are going to be placed in East London. And then you have 200 of these 300 learners are going to be doing plumbing. They are going to be doing bricklaying. I was telling about the launch is about them. These learners are going to be doing plumbing, they are going to be doing bricklaying, they are going to be doing carpentry. We have then said, because we have a relationship with the Department of Education, let's take a different approach. The program is for unemployed people, all right? Young people from age 18 to 35. But we said, maybe there are already a lot of those that are a missing link in terms of age, who never got this opportunity. But we have a young brigade that is leaving school now. What do we do with them? Because the sad story about these kids that you see here, especially those that are in uniform, when they leave school, it's the end of the world for them. Unless they come from wealthy family or families that have other income streams. These learners, yes, some of them come back to rob you, to rob us, because some not by choice. There are those that are doing it by choice. So we said, if we take these young kids who are leaving school, their last paper, I think some of them was this week. As they are finishing, they immediately go into a skills program, because they are coming from schools of skills. They get placed for 12 months. In that 12 months, as they learn, you try and find them employment. Some of them will group into cooperatives so that they can work for themselves, because we want them to be independent. Right? So we have 300 of them. and they are coming from the Eastern Cape, they are coming from Umtata, they are coming from Gqeberha, including Karega and Dispatch. They are also coming from Tanzania, and the majority are coming from East London. So that's the purpose of today. We're launching a program, but we invited here people from the infrastructure. We've invited construction companies that are working with the Department of Education and our provincial government and the private sector. And we are saying to all of you that are seated here with some level of power, let's work together. Maybe adopt this program. We will give you a person for free. It's very nice. We give you a person for free to do your work, whilst you concentrate on getting more projects and programs. When they finish, they will be qualified entry of level 5. All those who are doing artisan programs will have the trade, get their trade test written and passed, and they will be qualified artisans. Thank you very much.
Njoba lixhomekeke ekubeni sibe siyaqeshwa sonke ngoba lo muntu uqeshayo sube kuxhamla umuntu ngaphaya kwalo uqeshiweyo. So akho mthetho ke uthi wonke umuntu uyaqhubekeka emqeshweni. Ngalomazwi ke ndicinga uba we want to acknowledge and to welcome le milestone inkosi.
On behalf of the National Skills Fund, we would like to appreciate all key stakeholders for embracing this wonderful opportunity. But we're also mindful that this opportunity is a huge challenge, and I would like to remind you that it is time for work, colleagues. It is time to sweat. It is time to bleed. It is time to get going. It is time to deliver on expectations for the sake of our nation. Together, we can do more. Let us grow South Africa together. I say forward, I say vorentoe, siya phambili. I thank you.
We are blessed invited to be part of this program. Ibuela kula nokuyithetha mhlawumbe ke siyeke lokutya sihambe soqhwaba izandla sikhuphe oma 160,000 kwezindawo sihamba kuzo. Kanti if we were to have a strategic relationship and integrated, synergized approach to begin to say, endaweni yoba ngaba yenze le nto ndedwa, let us have all these programs siyodeliverisha into edibeneyo Tata Gade phaa kuwo njenguyodeliverisha nje isikolo. So mna ndingudedeya ndiyawufika ndifake ntoni phaa, mna ndingu-social development, then it becomes a provincial engagement. Inorhulumente, ine-disability sector, inesikolo, everybody was a stakeholder. Siyazi uba ii-efforts zethu zonke siziphosa kulaa ndawo, and therefore will have i-impact.
Ndinguzilindile yibhala osuka phaa eMthatha, uMthatha DPO, owathanga u-DPO. I-initiative le intle kakhulu kangangoba ndiyayibulela mna into yoba ndinotisile into yoba ngokuthatha uvacation imse kwa-tertiary level there was a problem. Ndiyangqinelana no-MEC xa isithi ikhona into efuna ukujongwa apho kwa-education. Ukuyayijonga, the present curriculum is discriminatory because if you are not academic correct, so ufila apha eSouth Africa. Kanti kudala abantu bakhule nge-network, nyanze nge-handwork. Ongakwazi unyuka ngapha enyuke ngapha akwenzeki ngoku, and ukube ingazibuye ize apha. I want to cite one thing again kuba komunyaka ukubonisa ukuthi le curriculum inayingxaki xa ingenaskills. One of amakhwenkwe phaa ekuhlaleni ipase ugrade 12 kwisikolo sasesandi enye yadrop out ino-B kwisikolo kuthiwa kuseNtundwane. Le ipase ugrade 12 ingudaka boy wale ipase u-B because iye yazizamela ukwakha. Now xa uzoba nomntwana ono-B ezoba nguyena uqasha lo 12 because kuthiwe apha eSouth Africa sine i-graduates, unemployed graduates zideske zenza igroup because those are employers, but iyachazela uba the type of education ayinaskill. Ndiyayifuna ke nam ukuthi mayiqalasele le nto ine-curriculum lesiqhuba ngayo. Iphinde kule endlini ukuba ii-departments zake ziye kusebenza in isolation, abantu bethu abe-South Africa will never clap hands for lo rhulumente sikuyo. Make ndenze umzekelo nje ophendula. Uya umntu kwaSASSA, xa efika kwaSASSA kuthiwe ufuna i-proof of birth. Esi-aram indima iba ne-official inama-resource ifowunele kwa-health, I'm having so and so, please email this. Ufuneka ehambile ngaloo mini awutshona ngapha kwa-health aphinde abuye ngenye imini because our departments are working in silos. Urhulumente wethu in terms of the policy and legislation, everything uyenzi andazi noba kufuneka implementation matrix na. You look at OSPU, uba ungadibana lo kudibane lo kwenziwe into eyi-one, at least there can be a change. But le ndlela yokusebenza kwamarhulumente ndingqinelana ke nawe nale nto yee-officials ezisabotajayo, kuba uzawufika ube ngu-MEC bafike babahlanu badlula xa ufuna ukubeka utshintsho. Ndibona into yoba laa system yaseAmerica uba xa utshintsha usystem kufuneka umke nabanye abangaphakathi ngake ndiyiqhwabele because abantu abaninzi abafelisha urhulumente apha it's not aba bantu ukhalwa ngabo abaphezulu, ngabantu within the government abaneminyaka ko-40 ko-20 behleli karhulumente. Enkosi Chair.
Lo uthethayo Councillor Gade apha eBCM under the leadership kaMeya Olapho ngaphambili. Now apha ke ndirepresenta i-Eastern Cape Hope for the Blind. Ndingunobhala wakhona. Now when we noted that there is a gathering of this nature, we quickly make phone calls because we are across Eastern Cape. Then we quickly made calls, and then we noted that most of the organizations as nezokwenza ne-disability are unaware of what is happening here. And that quickly worried us. Hence, I am very much worried that kuzawuthiwa ngoku umcimbi wokhethwa kwabantu abazawuxhamla sowenziwe. Nalapha eBCM we did the same thing because we have the organization exists up eBCM as well. In the organizations is under yona. So I just want to check ukuba is there a way whereby we can whereby we can even include those where the many that was excluded. That's why I understand the question of myself, but is selection finished now? Because when the MEC was speaking, inclusiveness is what was on top of what he was saying. Lastly, the reason get here happened over the Pagamsemva. Busy rules, who come on blind again, they understand because Sanders Pagamemva, because over the Lindy can't ask we identify. So we must also learn to understand disability, but isn't needs. Abanya bava njenguthetha ngaphambili, abanye ababoni njalo njalo. Enkosi ke chairperson, just we want to see bakhonye obinokwenziwa na because abantu abaqhaphazelekanga kule meko. Enkosi.
Before we tell the significance of ukobeno up, it's very important that you are here. Beyond your relationship with the department, we want to build a relationship with you so that we also make sure that we mainstream disability in your program. Unyanisela sizukunika abantu abacheba ingcaba yobeka iroof phezulu sifuna ubatrayine sifuna usebenze kunye nathi ubatrayine so that mhla ugqibileyo uthi nabo bantwana ndabaphuhlisa bakule level sikuyo. Andiphenduleli ke i-panelists. Councillor Gade, yes, the challenge woke up that before you leave, those people who are representing other disabilities locally, because Tina, remember we are working with provincial organizations whom you subscribe. But before Niamba, still sharing list benefit before Niamba, it's a challenge. Before you leave, give those two ladies a list of those people you want to benefit with their phone numbers. This is not the only program that we have in the province. This is the only program we are launching. We're currently recruiting people for other programs. We're busy with home-based care. We're busy with many other, but I'm saying, let's leave those lists there. By tomorrow, our office will call all of them.